say pray for grace. Olúwa má gbàgbé mi.
Hi, lovely people. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Please, if you have not subscribed, kindly subscribe. If you have not turned on the notification button, turn on so that you can be notified when there is a new video. Today, we are going to continue with our French lectures. On our last episode, we discussed the first group verb, and we said that first group verbs are verbs that end with er, and we also spoke about the personal pronouns in French, and we looked at the rule of conjugating first group verb, that is the ending rule. Then we said if you have a first group verb, for example, danser, you take the er out of the danser. Whatever is left, you write it for all the personal pronouns. Then you add the end rule. Je ends with e. Tu ends with es. Il ou elle ends with e. Nous ends with ons. Vous ends with ez. Il ou elle with s ends with ent. To get better understanding of this lecture, kindly visit the previous edition on the same channel and learn how to conjugate the first group verbs, which are verbs that end with er, except aller, which is an exceptional verb. Today, on this episode, we are going to learn the second group verb. Unlike the first group verbs in French, which are verbs that end with er, second group verb in French are verbs that end with ir. Example, fini. Choisir. Fini means to finish. Choisir means to choose. In the first group verbs, we said there was an exception. The exceptional group verb is aller, which ends with er. The exceptional group verb, the exceptional verbs in the ir is avoir. Avoir ends with ir, but does not follow the rule of conjugating verbs that end with ir. So avoir is not a second group verb, but an exceptional verb. Okay? So we are going to take an example. Okay? But let us look at the end rule of verbs that end with ir. Je ends with is. Tu ends with is. Il ou elle ends with it. Nous ends with iss, ons. Vous ends with iss, ez. Il ou elle ends with iss, ent. This is the end rule of verbs that end with ir. That is second group verbs. So let's take an example. Fini, which is to finish. Now when we are given a verb like fini, you first ask yourself, what group verb is fini? Then you know fini is a second group verb because fini ends with ir. Okay? So the first thing we do is to write our personal pronoun. You know here, everything is made simple. So je, tu, il ou elle, nous, vous, il ou elle. Then, what made us determine that this was a second group verb? The ending ir. So we take that ending off, which is this ir. Then we write whatever is left with. for all the pronouns. So we have fini, fin, fin. Then, like we always did for the first group verbs, you apply the end rule of verbs that end with IR. So at je, it ends with IS. Tu ends with IS. Il ou elle ends with IT. Nous ends with what? ISS. ONS. Vous ends with IEZ. I mean ISSEZ. And il ou elle plural ends with ISSENT. So when you are giving a verb and it ends with IR, apart from avoir, which we said was an exceptional verb, you take the ending IR out, write the remaining for all the pronouns, and apply your end rule. So the only thing you are supposed to learn, as usual, is your personal pronouns in French, which are always the same, they never change. And the rule, depending on what type of group verb we are dealing with. So in the previous lecture, I gave an example. I gave an assignment that everybody should get 5 first group verbs and conjugate them using the end rule and the personal pronoun. And today we have learned second group verbs that are verbs that end with IR. And we said there is an exceptional verb, just like the first group verb. The exceptional verb is aller, ends with ER but does not follow the rule. This is avoir, ends with IR but does not follow the rule of verbs that end with IR. And we gave an example as fini, which is to finish, and choisir, which is to choose. And we said that if you want to conjugate it, you apply the same idea we applied for the first group verbs in the previous lesson. That is, you write your verb, you write your personal pronouns, you take the ending IR out, you write whatever is left for the pronouns, then you apply your ending rule to them according to the personal pronoun. Then you are done conjugating fini, which means that apart from avoir, which ends with IR, and some other verbs that end with OIR, we will come to that. There are some verbs that end with OIR, just like avoir, but they are not part of avoir though. Avoir is an exceptional verb. Okay? Then we conjugate it using their end rule, as simple as we did in the previous. So we will take another example so that we can be abreast with such verbs. Okay? But do not forget, apart from fini and choisir, you are supposed to get 5 other second group verbs that are verbs that end with IR and learn how to conjugate them using the end rule. So let's conjugate choisir, which is to choose. As usual, you write your personal pronoun. Then we look at what type of group verb is this. It is a second group verb because it ends with IR. So we take that IR out of it. Then we are left with this. So you write whatever is left for all the pronouns. Then you apply your end rule to whatever you have here. So with je, it's supposed to end with is. Tu, is. Il ou elle, it. Nous, iss, ons. Vous, iss, L-O-U-L-I-S-S-E-N-T. Je choisis. Tu choisis. Nous, il ou elle choisit. Nous choisissons. Vous choisissez. Il ou elle choisit. I choose. You choose. He or she chooses. We choose. You choose. They choose. Ladies and gentlemen, get 5 examples that end with IR and conjugate them using them. In our next lecture, we are going to learn third group verbs and how to conjugate them. Note, what we did in the previous lecture and what we are doing today are the present tense. That is how to conjugate those verbs, the first group verbs and the second group verb in the present tense. Okay, we are going to learn the other tenses, that is the future tense, the past tense, the future approach, the future near, the future far away, and all that. We are going to learn them all. All we need you to do is subscribe, like, share, and comment. Please do not forget to turn on notification so that when we upload our next lecture, you are going to be notified. Thank you for joining today's class.
I say praise for grace. Olúwa má gbàgbé mi.